You've probably heard about how smart content batching is for your business, but nobody talks about how to actually do it. That's why today, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of how Abby, my YouTube producer, and I batched 3 months worth of content for this channel so that she could take an awesome maternity leave without this channel suffering. And by the end of this video, you will also have a lot more tools for creating your content without having it take over your life. And with that goal in mind, the first thing you want to do is to zoom out and look at the big picture. How much content do you need to batch? And how much time do you have to do it in? For us, we knew that we needed to batch 3 months worth of content within a 6-month window. So that means on top of all of our regular weekly content. That sounds kind of overwhelming, right? And that's how you might be feeling too, looking at your own timeline. So let's just acknowledge this up front. This is hard. But thing number one, you probably don't need to batch this much content up front, especially if you're earlier on in your business. When I was starting out, I would have considered it a win if I could batch like 3 days in advance. So start with what you can and then grow from there. But also, thing number two, this is just part of the price it takes to build the business and life of your dreams. So this is one of those things where it's just got to get done, which is where our first tip comes in, to help you take the drama out of it so you can clearly figure out what you need to do. More specifically, flip your timeline and reverse engineer what needs to get done. For example, we knew that at the end of our timeline, we needed to have 12 videos done. That includes ideation, scripting, recording, editing, and thumbnails, plus 24 shorts for that timeline as well. That was what we needed to get done. But maybe for you, especially if you're just starting out, that timeline looks much smaller. Like maybe you just want to batch a week in advance so that you can have some breathing room. No matter the amount, we found that the key for us is to think about batch creation as its own project. This way, instead of it being a vague, scary idea that you need to get a lot more done, you know exactly what you need to do and when. That's why tip number two is to create a new schedule that takes all of your work into account. For example, for us, our normal weekly schedule is to script 1 new video so that it's ready for me to record. On top of that, we also ideate a separate new video. That includes coming up with the thumbnail, title, goal of the video, and outline. That's how we're able to consistently publish a weekly video every Wednesday. But to be able to take December through February off, we realized that we needed to increase our production volume by 2 additional scripts every month, plus 2 new ideations every month as well. In total, bumping us up to 6 scripts and 6 new ideations each month. To avoid any confusion, we then assigned specific due dates for each script and each ideation. Personally, we use Basecamp to do this because you know me, I need my tools to be as simple as possible, but the specific software doesn't really matter, you just gotta do it. So essentially, you're taking your big picture goal and then breaking it down into monthly and then weekly and sometimes maybe even daily allotments. For example, if you know that it takes you about 30 minutes to create 1 piece of content, but you want to be able to create 2 pieces of content a day, then now you've got to schedule an hour for your daily content creation. That being said, let's also be honest. A lot of the time, you just don't have the luxury of having some extra time. So you got to do what you got to do. That might mean working a little faster or working a little more. For example, for us, our normal script writing time is 1 week, but just the weekdays, so Monday through Friday. However, to make this new schedule work, we had to condense our script writing for each script down to just 3 to 4 days and open up Saturdays and Sundays as well. It's not ideal and it is not something that we would normally do, but we knew that we were only going to be doing this for just a few months. And more importantly, to us, the payoff was worth it. We would be able to take 3 months off for Abby to have her maternity leave and for me in general. But while we absolutely work hard around here, we do not believe that burning yourself out or having to be miserable is ever a price that you have to pay. So when it comes to content creation, we strike a good balance between getting a lot done and still enjoying our work by not making things any harder than they have to be. Here's how you can do that too. First, you do not need to create your content from scratch every single time. For example, rarely do we have to start at complete zero when coming up with content ideas, because we have certain content pillars that we can use to jumpstart our brainstorming. Take January, for example. Week number 1 is a video about how to grow a business. Week 2 is specifically about building a coaching business. Number 3 is a community video, which is essentially a more personal video that dives into the emotions or the behind the scenes of my business, followed by a video the next week about selling courses. So let's get you thinking about your content pillars. What do people come to you for? Where does your experience lie? This way, the next time you sit down to brainstorm content ideas, you already have some set parameters to help you get that spark going. Another important thing that helps us a lot, and I highly recommend that you do this for your content as well, is that we have a simple template that we use for all our content. For example, for our YouTube scripts, we always start with this framework. You can see we have a place for the title, the big idea, the outline, the thumbnail, and the hook. And I have something like this for almost all of my content channels. So this applies no matter where you're publishing your content. Because once you have this, you have just made it so much easier for yourself to focus on what actually matters, the content itself. So high five to that. But while we give ourselves a lot of grace and make it as easy as possible to get our work done, we're also super clear. Getting what we need to done is non-negotiable. It's like when your boss asks you to do something. Even if you don't want to do it, you are gonna get it done because it's your job. That means you're probably focusing your energy on how you're gonna get it done, not if you're gonna do it. Thinking about your job, you know what a difference this mentality alone can make. And that's why this is tip number 4. Treat your content creation like a job, even if it's not technically your job yet. Honestly, for us at this point, YouTube is not a huge revenue driver for us yet. If you've been following me for a while, you know that search traffic and email marketing are my heavy lifters. And I'm sharing this because you might be thinking, yeah, that's easy for you to say, Luisa, you're already monetizing your content. Well, not so much on YouTube. To be clear, yes, we are running a business and I'm not doing this just because I'm a bleeding heart. But I do have a very clear vision for where I would like to grow this channel, and I know that this is what it takes to get there. So for you, your vision might be to be able to grow your business to where you're able to replace your job income, right? Well, how do you get to that point? Part of it is by putting out consistent content. Of course, it's hard. I've been there too. But something I say a lot, because I truly believe it, you can absolutely have the business of your dreams if you're willing to pay the price for it. If this is part of what it takes, are you going to put in the work? Or are you going to settle for not getting what you want? With that being said, as important as it is to reframe your motivation, you also cannot run on just motivation alone. Let's be honest. That's why in this next video, I walk you through exactly how to make lots of content from just one topic with a lot of actual examples. This is going to make it so much easier for you to create a lot more content and do so much faster too. So I will see you over there.